Hello, this is Elizabeth from Vertcow Studio, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make one of these cute Starburst cards. Now what I've made are two 5x5 cards, but really you can do this in any size you'd like. It's not even limited to squares if you prefer to send or make rectangular cards. So to make these I used a 5x5 blank card base. And for my pattern papers, I used 3 different collections, from Webster's pages. So this first one, I used their Park Drive collection and their 6x6 paper pad. And for the other one, I just used a collection pack that comes from either Sunday Picnic or Everyday Poetry. And so what's great about these is once you have the cuts made for one card, you can actually make 3 more. So for example, I have 3 with all the same patterns on it, and I have 3 more with this one. Great. So to get started, I pre-cut these 3 6x6 sheets of paper into a 5x5 sheet. And to start, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the yellow one, and I'll use this as my pattern for the remainder. So to start, I take my paper cutter and I line up the corner where the blade is, and I'm just going to cut this into 6 strips of varying length. And you don't have to worry about the corners too much because those are going to get covered up by our little our embellishment at the end. Cutter does not seem to be cutting these right today. So now that I have all 6 bursts cut from one piece of paper, all I have to do is take the second piece of paper, line up this edge with my pencil, and I'm just going to trace where that line goes onto this next one, so that way I can mix and match and they'll all be the same size. And what's great about starting with a piece of paper that has, I guess, a very distinct pattern is that also when you're lining these up, or when you're placing them, you know they're lined up properly because all the pattern pieces will match up too. Alrighty, so now that all of my tracing is done, I'm going to go ahead and repeat that step on this card, and I will rejoin you again once that is complete. Alright, so I'm back, and as you can see, not only did I trace the lines for the other 2 pieces of paper, but I also went ahead and cut them. And now I just used my Cutter Bee scissors, and I do it by hand, because in case you didn't notice, I don't have the greatest paper cutter in the world. But if you have an awesome paper cutter that's totally easily doable. You could probably actually not even do the whole line, just mark the beginning and the end and line them up with the blade on your paper cutter. Also, if you noticed, our beams are now starting in the upper left instead of the bottom left. It's because I noticed when I made these, when I cut this first piece of paper, I wasn't paying attention to the letters, and if I left the beam starting at the lower left, we'd end up with words that ran from top to bottom and not left to right. So I went ahead and just inverted them all. It's good. Change them up. These are actually all going to, all 9 of these are going to go to a group of people, and so it's good that they're different, so not everybody has the same cards. Alrighty. So to go ahead and figure out which pieces go where, I like to start with all 3 of my cards out. Let's see if I can get room for them. Okay. So I start out with, so I'm going to take the first piece from this one, the first piece from the yellow, and the first piece from the green. And then we're going to take the second piece from the newsprint, second piece from the yellow, and the third piece of this one go here, here, and here. And then I'm just going to repeat that same pattern. One. And so now you have the full sheet and the full complement of pieces of paper for each one. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of these away to the side, and I will just work on the one with you. I think let's go ahead and work with this one. Alrighty, so that the whole thing is done for us, or you've already done the whole thing basically for yourself. At this point, all we're going to do is just glue down all of your pieces. So it's helpful to leave it all as its whole square, so that way you won't mix up what exactly is going where. And to glue everything down, I'm just using a Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. Which is apparently getting a little low. Here we go. Just won't spill out too much. I like to wipe it around with my finger a little bit. If we're starting at the top left. And the most important thing is that you line up these edges here, because again, if they don't quite make it to the top, or if the little pieces, ends don't quite match up, which are the most difficult part to cut, and to get accurate, then these are just gonna all get covered up, so it won't matter in the end. And now we're nearly done. All we need to do is make sure that all of our edges are clean. It looks like I have a couple that need some trimming. Alrighty, And so I like to have my corners rounded, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I think you're definitely if you prefer them pointed, by all means leave this step out. And last but not least, I'm going to grab one of these little tags. Sorry, that was backwards for you there. I think this looks like it'll be a cute one. Let's go ahead and round these corners too. I'm going to grab some dots, or some, excuse me, not glue dots, some dimensional adhesive. Place it right over those little corners. Now, as you can see, anything that might not have lined up here is now, of course, just covered up by your little square. Alrighty. So all of these that I'm going to make, I'm going to go ahead and make my other two separately. But all of these are actually going to the new pledges from my sorority. That's why, if you notice, there's a green and gold theme going on. That's because those are our colors. But I'm going to make some in some different color palettes, and I will have them up on my Etsy store, the VertCow, by the time you see this video on YouTube, so you can go ahead and click the link below and purchase them if you're not a crafter who plans on making them. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good time in, making this card. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye.